We return on the morning show here with us. We've got Asgeir from Iceland. He was in town a couple of nights ago, put on a great show, and we are lucky enough to have him right here on the morning show with us. Let's just begin right here. Help me with the name, please.
Well, it's pronounced Asgeir in Icelandic, but outside of Iceland, most people just pronounce it like Asgeir or something, just like you said.
Just like I said, Asgeir. Okay. We know, and I don't want to talk too much about the Icelandic artists that have kind of helped pave the way for you. Of course, Björk and Sigur Rós and of Monsters and Men and these sort of things. But how are you going to, as an artist, differentiate yourself from those? I know sort of Icelandic folk is sort of what they're calling you or labeling you as, which was kind of the same as what they were calling of Monsters and Men. How do you see it as different, though?
Well, I don't know. I don't really like try to focus on too much what direction I should go or how I should try to think about what I am. You know, I just try to be myself as much as I can, and if that's something that works for people, then that's what it is, you know. And if it doesn't work, then you know, I can always play guitar and write songs for myself. But it's not that important to me, like where I put myself, you know. It's just I am what I am, and if you like it, then you do, and if not, then you don't.
Would you suggest that most Icelandic artists kind of all have the same influences, meaning that the same kind of having the same history and obviously the same types of traditional music, and you're exposed to the same popular music or Western music? Is it fair to say that you've all kind of had the same influences, or have you had sort of a different experience?
Yeah, I think so, to a certain extent, you know. No, we grow up in the same country and with the same values and in the same surroundings, and it has some effect on you, you know, just being in this country. I would say, at least for me, you know, I grew up in the countryside, which has had a lot of effect just on me, you know, being in the nature all the time and being in those surroundings, and you know, that's where I feel the most relaxed and most peaceful, and what I call home, you know. And I go there to write music, you know. That's what I prefer, you know. When I get home, I want to go to the place I grew up in and write music, and something just about the place. And yeah, well, at least, you know, we listen to all these same artists, you know, coming from Iceland. At least that's what we have in common, and how we grew up, and so there are some similarities in you know, what we listen to it, and that's probably why, you know, people talk about this Icelandic sound, and because we have some of the same experiences, you know, all of us, and something that connects us all, probably. Yeah.
This album here it's not new to you, because these songs obviously were recorded in Icelandic and sort of reinvented in English. Does the language change anything about the records? Does it make it new songs for it? Has it sort of, do you perform them differently? Do you think of the songs differently at all?
Well, I that was more like the first few weeks or months, you know, when we were doing the translation. It was quite strange, you know, because it's it's always more natural to sing in Icelandic, and there's something you know, really different about it, and I really had to get used to those English lyrics and singing those songs in a different language for some time. But right now, you know, it's beginning to be much more natural and more normal for me, just both of the languages. But this is something that it's quite unique to do for an artist to change. At least nowadays, it was more common, back in the 60s or something, when the Beatles were doing albums in all sorts of languages for all sorts of markets, and countries. But right now it's more to just stick to one language and not change. It's quite different to do what I'm doing, and but of course the album sounds different. It's a whole nother language, and it has a lot. It changes how you feel about songs, but for me, we started to record this Icelandic album, 2 years ago now, and I'm kind of. It's hard for me to have a really fresh opinion on those things, because we're always playing those songs, and it kind of, it gets kind of blurry, your opinions on things, but it's more natural for me to sing in Icelandic, and there are a few things on the Icelandic album that I like more, but I think if you look at the whole picture, it's really just the same album, just another language for people to understand on another level,
What do you have planned for the future? Obviously, the English version of this of your album is In the Silence is quite new in terms of the English version, but as I said, they are songs that you've recorded a couple of years ago. What do you plan on doing in the immediate future? You're obviously touring on the strength right now of the success of this, but how soon is it before you're going to be releasing new material? Is that material going to be in English?
Yeah, that's a big question, well, we're just focusing on this album and have been focusing on this album for some time now, and it was just released like a few weeks ago around the world, so which is really strange, because we've been touring the album for more than 1.5 years, and we were just releasing it. It's really strange, but at the same time, it's really exciting and something that we have never, no one around me and the people that I'm working with have experienced, and something that you just want to put all your work into and focus, and for, I think, all 2014 we will be just playing this album and focusing on this album, and probably a little bit into 2015, but for me, every time I get some time off, or every time I'm alone at the hotel room with my guitar, the most enjoyable part is to write new material and record new material, so we try to do that as much as we can. So we have a few songs that we have been recording for since we started touring, but I think most of the material that would be on the when we get some real time off in Iceland in the beginning of 2015. I can go there and stay there for 2 months, 6 months, 2 years, whatever, just to finish the next album and really focus on that and be just totally satisfied with it.
One question I ask everybody that comes on the morning show. Think about it really hard. Right now, on your iPad or iPod or MP3 player, whatever it is, what song is on there right now?
Right now, I think it's Abandoned Window with Airhead.
Airhead, the band Airhead. Okay, all right, excellent. Last thing, I know you don't have a lot of time to spend in Taiwan, didn't spend a lot of time here, obviously on tour, it's hectic and all that, but if there's one thing that you'll take away from being here in Taiwan, what's it going to be?
In Taiwan,
maybe it's something you noticed, maybe it's something you ate, maybe it's something you tripped on or bumped into by mistake, or maybe it's a problem. I don't know what it is. The one thing that you'll kind of take away.
Well, I just yesterday I went to 7-Eleven and I found this ice cream, which I had never tried before, and I think it was in Taiwanese, or is it Chinese, or I don't get it, like, and it was amazing. You know, it was one of the best ice creams I ever tasted.
What was the flavor? Tell me it was red bean ice cream.
No, it was some sort of like cream, like caramel, like with like in waffle like form. It was just so amazing.
Well, you kind of hit it right on the nail there. Taiwan has a lot of 7-Eleven, so you definitely take away from that. All right, thanks very much for taking the time to join the morning show. It's Asgeir, or actually, I'll let you say this one out. Let's go with the single off this. I'm going to let you announce it, and then we're going to play it right here on the morning show. So this is Asgeir and the single and all the rest on ICRT. Go.
Hi, this is Asgeir, and you're listening to King and Cross on ICRT.